the alleged controversy over Black Widow and its marketing. ScarJo is saying it's a very pro-feminist film. It's going to send a great empowerment message. And the other side of the table is it's going against men. It's really, really sexist. It's really, really awful. Now, I have not seen the film fully, so I can't speak on its aesthetic qualities. So this is mostly the reception of the film from an audience standpoint as well as marketing standpoint. What I'm gathering is overall, again, and I'm looking at mainly the critical people who have looked at the film, it's basically an average action adventure MCU film. And it has both the good points and bad points of the MCU, kind of middling special effects, uninspired direction, a lot of weird, lousy jokes. The performances are pretty good. It does at least do what it's supposed to do as a superhero film. Probably my only major concern from the reviews, as far as I understand it, is in terms of the canon, because this supposedly takes place after Civil War. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out, but we'll get into that when I see the film and try to scale it in terms of quality of MCU films and good, bad films, etc., etc. Now then, in terms of the controversy. So ScarJo is sort of saying this is a kind of pro-feminist film. And people like Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers and other websites are immediately pouncing that she's a hypocrite, she has a double standard. So there are really 3 points being made. And on one point, I will actually agree with them completely. But the two others, I think, are question marks. Okay, so can we say this is really a feminist film in a capital F sense? The answer, I think, is no, because ScarJo has a very compromising history with Harvey Weinstein. She was in a couple of Weinstein films. She's been photographed with Harvey Weinstein. She went to Harvey Weinstein parties. And of course, her story is, oh God, I'm shocked and horrified by what Harvey did. I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think she has any credibility there. I think she's completely lying. I think it's really hard to believe she didn't know what was going on behind the scenes and presumably just didn't care. Now, we should grant that she was a young actress and all that, so how much power did she have, etc., etc. But she didn't have to go to these parties. She didn't have to get photographed with him. So those were choices. Black Widow being a capital F feminist film, no, that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make sense from the reviews. So it's not that. But now we drop to the two other points. Is it lowercase f feminist film? And is she being hypocritical in complaining how she was being sexualized early on in the MCU?
In time where I can say that I lived through a woman being in a movie for the first time ever. At least that's what Scarlett Johansson wants you to think, because it's always about playing the victim. It's also letting men know that this movie was not made for you. This movie was not made for you. Not at all. I would reference Brie Larson saying that, but apparently those movies never happened. Apparently this is the first time a woman has ever been in a film. So shout out to Scarlett Johansson for the bravery and the stunning, amazing accomplishment right here. So let's go ahead over here to Bounding into Comics. Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson claims women are undermined, undeserved, underappreciated, and underpaid. The same Scarlett Johansson that, according to Yahoo here, is worth $165 million and is one of the highest paid actresses in the world. In 2018, Forbes dubbed her the highest paid actress in 2018, 3 years ago. But again, this is the first time a woman's ever been in a movie. This is the first time. So congratulations to Scarlett Johansson. So brave, so stunning. Black Widow star and the highest paid actress in the world.
Those, I think, are legitimately question marks. Again, we have to be a little generous. So, of course, the thing with Jeremy is she's very well paid. And again, that's how she became a superstar, right? She did the MCU. She wasn't paid very much, but it gave her a lot of exposure. And then she kept signing up and her salary kept increasing. Did she really not know that she was constantly being photographed or framed in a sexy pose in the MCU films? Did she not know when she was doing all these covers that they were constantly focusing on her breasts? Did she not know when she was wearing all these clothes and dresses, they were emphasizing her body? How did she not know these things? Well, I think they're, again, being generous. There are question marks because the more you read about how the system works in Hollywood, it is a very closed universe, right? You often, just as an actor, just have a very simple cycle of personal assistants, you do a film project or TV project or whatever, you handle the press, you do some interviews, you have some time off, then you go back to doing the project, film, television, or otherwise, And it just becomes a very small closed circle. I can buy that in her closed circle, she was being told and advised, you're basically just a sex object. It's fine. We'll work later on getting better scripts. And maybe she was being misled as to what the scripts were. So that I would consider a question mark. And now, in terms of the hypocrisy of her just being, again, I think that is a question mark because people are pointing out that she has to be a hypocrite because she's supporting Joss Whedon, right? She's not denouncing Joss Whedon, but she's denouncing Harvey. But again, as far as my research shows, she has no issue with Joss Whedon, and she liked the direction he was taking Black Widow within the two films. And there's been a lot of criticism of Joss about how Black Widow was not portrayed fully or given more development. But again, he only had a certain amount of power over those films. I guess the hypocrisy comes from her being so vocally feminist now. That seems a little strange because, again, she doesn't have much credibility there. If she wants to market herself as a feminist, that's fine. I understand all that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think you can call her out for being a little bit too self-righteous about it because she just doesn't have much credibility there. So I think that's fine. And again, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers on his part is doing no less the same thing. He's kind of marketing himself to his, there's no nice way of putting it, to his sexist viewership and kind of his sexist persona. But again, to be consistent, I think it's lowercase s sexism. It's not big S sexism, it's lowercase s sexism, but it's still sexism no less. So both sides are basically marketing themselves to their respective audiences. But I would say the only big hypocrisy here is the Harvey Weinstein thing. But in terms of ScarJo wanting to be a feminist or revising her Black Widow persona from being a very sexy superhero to a more moderately sexy kind of female empowerment hero, yeah, you can laugh at it. You can say it's hypocritical or silly, but I think that's a question mark. Maybe she didn't have full control of the script. Maybe, she was being misled by Kevin Feige and the early versions of Black Widow. Again, it's possible. We just don't know. And again, it is a fact that often stars are in very closed social circles. So maybe she was being misled by her people. And if she just wants to change her image now, I think within certain boundaries, she can do that. So 2 question marks. But I do agree she is being hypocritical on Harvey Weinstein. I think that is a big albatross. And she really has not answered a lot of questions there. But her supporting Joss or her being, quote unquote, I don't know, being a little bit revisionist history about Black Widow, I think that's fine. That's normal. You can call her a hypocrite. I would say at best that's lowercase hypocrisy. That's just unfortunately very normal for all people. So I don't see why any need to get really panicky over this one. But there we are. So at the end of the day, Black Widow is just a very mediocre, silly action film. If you want to see it as a feminist film, that's up to you. If you want to see it as not see the film as a protest against feminism, you can do that as well. I think it is just what it is. It's just a silly action film. But the marketing, I think, needlessly tried to make it seem much more important or political than it really is. All right, this has been Pop Cult Analyzed on the paradoxes of marketing Black Widow. Thank you for listening.